Let's turn live to our political panel. Time to ring the bell with Lavelle. Longtime senior advisor to President Trump, former SPA advocate in the first Trump White House, Bruce Lavelle. Alongside him, a new face to the briefing, former CIA case officer, now running for Congress in the great state of Ohio, OHIO, Eric Conroy. Welcome to you both, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks, Ed.
Thanks for having me, Ed.
You know, Bruce, the Canadians tried to pull a fast one here with the Gippers remarks and tried to pit President Reagan, conservative giant, icon, obviously, against President Trump. And they're finding out this president doesn't play like that. Your thoughts?
Well, listen, thanks for having me. Happy Friday. Here we go again. Well, Nancy, it didn't work, right? Get that ad out of there. But listen, this is typical of the meddling and the influence of the radical left that has a hold of the majority of the Canadian government, trying to put their silliness over, yes, and influence the Supreme Court and the United States. And they should know better, Brother Ed. Listen, President Trump don't play that. If you remember, I like the idea of the United States of North America. You might as well just join us, man, and just stop the foolishness and just become part of the United States. Because I can tell you right now, he's going to double down, and he is America First president. He's going to put the best interest of the United States first before everyone. So I'd get to the table quick and stop the silliness.
Yeah, well, Eric, I see you smiling about that silliness and the possibility of Canada maybe being the 51st state. I mean, people laughed at it, but now Canada's looking like it's in a defensive position. The tariff battle, obviously, Eric, happens in a broader context where the left and the elites and everyone tried to tell us that the tariffs were going to blow up the economy, hurt states like Ohio. How are they playing? What's happening on the campaign trail? Let's get outside the Beltway, because what I see is the tariffs are bringing in a lot of money, and maybe it's helping manufacturing in places like Ohio. What's happening?
Well, first off, Ed, thanks for having me. And to Bruce's point, right, and this is a amateur and Bush League attempt by the Canadians to not only meddle in affairs of Americans, but probably play up to a Canadian audience as well to show that they're fighting Trump and the Americans. But really what we're hearing out on the campaign trail is a lot of positive reactions to the tariffs. And I think a lot of people understand that these tariffs are an attempt to rebalance some longstanding economic agreements that we've had with countries like Canada, China, India, and others. And it's a long-needed rebalancing that we need to attempt. And I think the tariffs that President Trump is trying to negotiate and re-implement, or in terms of a broader economic strategy, is really needed, and it's long overdue.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then there's the border crisis, which is not much of a crisis anymore, thanks to what this president did, not even in the first 100 days, Bruce, but like the first week. And Senator Bernie Sanders had some surprising comments about that. Let's play him and we'll get you to react.
If you don't have any borders, then you don't have a nation, right? In a sense. So has historically the United States done well under Democrats and Republicans in protecting the border? The answer is no. Trump did a better job. I don't like Trump, but we should have a secure border. And it ain't that hard to do. Biden didn't do it. Those before him did not do it.
To me, it's like not just the praise of Trump, Bruce, but Biden didn't do it. I mean, Joe was out there last year telling us, I need a law. I can't do anything else. And even Bernie is saying he was full of it.
It's hard to gauge Bernie because he's upset because he didn't get the Part 6 part in Back to the Future as Doc. So he's still a little disgruntled, Ed. But Ed, let me tell you something. As soon as his base get a hold of him for saying or praising President Trump, I guarantee you they're going at him right now. He's getting tons of text messages. How dare you give credit to President Trump? So watch. I'd be interesting to see where his mindset is on Monday. If he's still going to be saying the same thing, or is he going to cave to that crazy base, that ALC base that he walks around holding a hand at the edge of the sand at the beach, and we'll see if he stands his ground on it and gives the due credit to President Trump. So we'll just stay tuned on Doc from Back to the Future.
Doc from Back, yeah, he did. Crazy Bernie, as the president likes to call him. Eric, I've got a slightly different view on Bernie, which is that he also did an interview, I think, with Jon Stewart, where he admitted that Trump had outflanked the Democrats on prescription drugs with this Trump RX thing. And maybe Bernie thinks, even at 80 or whatever, he's got one more presidential run, or at least he'll influence AOC or someone who might run next time. And he's maybe trying to cherry pick some of these issues and saying, Trump was right about the border. He's right about prescription drugs. And I think his point to Jon Stewart was, he doesn't like Trump, but he's been more effective than any other president.
Yeah, and I think we can all appreciate the great irony that socialist Bernie Sanders is now even forced to commend President Trump on a job well done on multiple topics. Yeah. And I'd like to ask, where was Bernie when 12 million illegal immigrants poured across our border during the Biden administration?
Yeah.
And greatly affected middle American economies like those in Ohio. And I think whether it's talks about prescription drugs or immigration, it really just goes to show the disarray and dumpster fire that the Democratic Party has become. And even Bernie is forced to concede to some of these policy successes because this is what America wants. This is what they need and what they want.
Absolutely. I think I've seen it all now. Bernie Sanders giving President Trump a little bit of credit. Eric, good luck with the race out there in Ohio. We'll be watching the great Ohio State football team, I'm sure, this weekend. And Bruce, you have a great weekend in the great state of Georgia. We always love having you on, my friend.
Go Dogs, Bulldogs.
There we go. Go Dogs. They're having a good year as well. I think they beat Ole Miss last week.